What is up, New Beginnings Church? Happy Thursday morning to you, and welcome to this devotional series we're doing called Lessons from Peter. We're in 1 Peter chapter 2 right now, and I'm going to pick up at verse number 11. It says, "Dear friends, I urge you as foreigners and exiles to abstain from sinful desires which wage war against your soul. Live such good lives among the pagans that though they may accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day He visits us." Now, what's interesting is that I think these two verses are actually kind of like a preface to the next three large chunks where he's going to deal with men and women and even who you work for as either employees or slaves. And so he's like, I'm going to give you a preface here. I need you to, before I take on these big chunks, I need you to know that this is the preface. Number one is this, that you recognize that you live as foreigners and exiles. You know, as a Christian, every once in a while, I need you to know this, you should feel like you don't totally belong here. As a Christian, you should be out in culture and be like, this is not for me. As a Christian, you should be out in public and be like, man, I just feel like I don't totally fit into this scene all the time, because you are not meant for this world. You are born again, and even though you live in this world, you should not be of this world. I want you to kind of think of it like this. If I were to go to a different continent, a different nation, and go just as a foreigner, I would probably feel a little uncomfortable, right? Like I remember when I was in my 20s, I got to go to South America. I got to go to Colombia. And let's be honest, I don't speak Spanish. I took 3 years of Spanish in high school. Can't speak any Spanish. I think I know like 4 phrases. Donde es el baño? Very important, right? And so you just got to know a few things to survive. But I just was there. I was like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable here. I don't speak their language. You know, the language of the world is usually me, myself, and I, right? The language of the world is kind of hopelessness or discouragement. Well, the language of God is hope and encouragement. We should just talk differently. So the languages should be a little bit differently. You know, even when we go to a different country and they still speak English, it ain't the same. They have different slang and different little, accents and different things. Like, you should know that your language should not match the language of this world. The other thing is that when you go to a foreign land, normally you dress a little bit differently than how they dress over there. And again, I'm not saying that like you can't wear fashionable clothes, but what I'm saying is this, is that the world will clothe itself a certain way, and we want to clothe ourselves a different way. And yes, modesty is important, financial modesty, sexual modesty, but like the Bible actually says, no, we clothe ourselves in love and humility. That is the uniform of a Christ follower. Not like that, just language and what you wear, but just even the customs. At some point, you should feel like, man, they just have little rituals and customs that I just don't line up with, right? Like everybody on Saturday night wants to go out, party hard, stay up late, sleep in, and watch football the next day. No. We're like, Sunday is a holy day. We go to church and we celebrate. That's our custom, right? And so we keep our customs regardless of their customs, right? And that's why I want you to church every Sunday morning. That's why I want you to speak a different language. I want you to wear something differently so that you recognize and everybody else recognize, no, I'm a foreigner and an exile. I don't totally belong here, but God has sent me here really more as a missionary. And watch this follow-up line. He goes, live such good lives among the pagans that though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day He visits us. Now, in the Roman Empire, Nero did this. Nero actually burned this part of the city to the ground so that he could remake it in his own image and his own likeness and do his own monuments and spend everybody's money. He was a lunatic. And so what Nero did is that he burned down part of the city, but he told everybody that it was the Christians who did it. And so many times the Christians became the scapegoat, that if you wanted to blame somebody, just blame the Christians. And so Peter was saying, hey, you're going to get blamed for stuff that you didn't do. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to live so above and beyond that nobody can really accuse you. And if anything, they watch how you love one another, how you treat people, how you care for the poor, how you care for the sick, how you handle yourself with integrity and honesty and high moral character, to where people are like, well, look, That's just not, that doesn't sound like any Christian I've ever heard of, right? And then he actually quotes from Jesus here when he says that they may see your good deeds and glorify God. That is a direct quote really from the Sermon on the Mount, where he said, hey, let your light so shine before men that they see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. And so in light of that, if you ever felt like you didn't belong, it's because you don't. Keep walking with God. Keep being light to the world. Keep doing good deeds to everyone around you that you may point people back to your Heavenly Father. Church, I love you so much. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow.